Hello, guys.
Hi
This
everyone.
this is a bit of a test live stream. We've had so many difficulties with these, and we apologize. Even years ago, our live streaming went so much more smoothly than now. But I'm trying this at a lower resolution, even though we're supposed to have internet that's so much faster now. It's just uh, it's just been a cluster. It's been messed up trying to do this. So we have someone in the room. We didn't make any announcements about this live stream because of all the difficulties. But Nico M, hello Nico M. So thanks for joining us. Normally we have a lot of people. Oh, now it seems a lot of people just popped into the room. So thank you
Cool.
guys for joining us. We'll just have an informal chat. Like I said, this is just kind of a test. Boy, my hair is blowing around like crazy
That's
with that
because of
fan.
the fan.
So uh, you can lower the fan. I feel cool enough.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead. Why don't you go ahead and lower that, please? Thank you. So, but thank you guys for joining us. It's nighttime. Hello, Jerome Laus. I believe you sound like you're European, and you got Imabel's name right. It's not spelled correctly, but a lot of people call her Isobel or Annabelle. At least you do know her name is Imabel, so thank you for that, even if it's not spelled correctly.
Hi Jerwin. Hopefully I pronounced your name right.
Hi, Game Union. Thanks for joining us. We like hanging out with you guys, and let us know if the video and the audio sounds okay. Like I said, this is just really a test, but feel free to ask us questions and spend a little time with us and hang out. I had a couple videos recently about our friend, not really our friend, more our acquaintance, Karen
About someone
Bordador.
we know that we got to work with somehow.
Yeah, you did you book her for any jobs
No,
before
I
where you were
was when I
managing?
was still working full time in the TV station here at ABS-CBN. I actually did some. I handled talents on the side, so I tried to book her. I tried to book jobs for her, but eventually I think I'm not sure if she got a manager or she just got other gigs. So that didn't really go for a long time. So
Karen did some good stuff too. She was an FHM model, a
yeah,
radio DJ, which was her main job. Who
she was
knows?
part of that reality show, and then she
She
and the
had a reality show where she
ex-boyfriend,
made it to the
they
finals.
yeah they were already engaged to be married because
That was the concept of the show. You
yeah
win the show and then you get
they
married
were
at the end,
like
but they
they
didn't want
were
to go through with it.
competing with the other couple, but almost at the end they quit. So and they just they decided not to get married in the end. But you know what? Before you say hi to the new people joining us right now, I actually have two questions for you guys.
And then I have a question, but go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, well, are we like gonna
You
bombard
reminded
them?
you reminded me
Are
of
we gonna
something.
bombard them with questions now? Well, anyways, I am just curious where you are right now. If you're also in the same hemisphere, however you call that, if you're in the same continent, the same area. So I wonder where you are right now, and I wonder what time it is where you are. So feel free to let us know. And my other question, that would be like two questions already, right? Where you are, what time is it? Number three question from Amabel for you guys is what so far, what are your top three favorite videos of Travis Kraft on his channel?
I'm just over here while you're doing that, acting like Stefan. She likes that character Stefan from Saturday Night Live that talks about all the hip new nightclubs in New
Oh my
York
god, I
City.
love Stefan.
She loves that guy. I'm trying to act like him. That's why I was making those faces
Yeah.
for the people that are watching. But we can greet some people here in this little informal test chat. So we have Nico, Jerome, Game Union, King Roel, Josh, Norwegian Polar Bear,
Oh, cool.
Antonio Bautista. Who am I missing here?
Totoy Ison is joining us as well. We also have Justin Wood.
I'll answer this question real quick. Do you follow any Philippine vloggers? No, I don't. I don't care. I'm not that interested in the Philippines. if I want to see the Philippines, I don't want to see it through a screen, whether that's my computer screen or even just watching it on TV. I'll just go outside and look at it in 3D with my own two eyes. And I think a lot of people, they watch entertainment because they want to escape, movies, like they watch fantasy movies, whether it's Game of Thrones and escaping to this fantasy world. Or I know a lot of people watch my videos from other countries because they like to see the world that I live in here in the Philippines or wherever else I am, like when we went to Singapore. Um, but me, you got to understand, I'm here. So the last thing I do is want to hear about the Philippines, look at the Philippines at least through a computer screen or TV screen. Like I said, I'll just look at it through my own two eyes and take everything in. Um, but we can talk some more about that later. Where else?
With
Where
what
else we
you
should
just
go?
said,
Okay.
these are 3 points that came to mind when you were speaking those things.
Besides, I'm the best anyway, so why would I want to watch anything
Well,
that's not as good as mine?
in fairness, what he said, modesty aside, we've been getting, personally, I've been getting comments, and I've personally heard comments from Philippine vloggers, as you call them, Game Union, who said that Travis actually inspired them to do their Philippine vlogging channel videos. So I think on that aspect, it's really very fulfilling, if you'll ask me, that you got to inspire them. Another point is when you said you said something like you're not really interested in the Philippines in in terms of watching videos. You just want to see it in person and explore it and see it and actually show it to them, right? So I would say,
Well, I don't want to just show you guys the Philippines, though. I think one of the best things that we did in the past year.
no, I mean, I know that. I know that. What I'm trying to say is because they might get you wrong, like you said, you're not interested in seeing the Philippines. I was gonna say,
I've already seen most of it,
I
but
know.
there's a few places I haven't seen here, I
Yeah.
suppose.
How I just wanted to reiterate it to them that you actually you're not Travis is not the type of YouTuber or of a video maker who watches videos about the Philippines on YouTube because he knows a lot about the Philippines already.
I'm already an
That's why
expert.
he's able to
I've been most
share with
places
you
here,
a lot of information, significant
yeah. I've
information
been here
about
for
the
years.
Philippines.
I'm
Right.
like the original guy doing this stuff. I
Yeah.
think I'm the best guy. That's personal opinion. I know a lot of audience, some of them don't identify with me real well because I'm a lot younger than them. And I knew when my parents were coming, and those are a lot of people's favorite videos. Some of my favorite videos that I've ever done, definitely of our vlog series, those are probably my all-time favorite when my parents came. But I had a feeling that when my parents came, not I didn't think the videos were going to be necessarily popular and get lots of views. That happened, and I'm thankful for that. But I knew that there was a lot of people that watch my videos that they're going to identify more with my dad and my parents
Mhm.
more than they identify with me because of the
Mhm.
age difference.
Mhm.
So I totally understand that. I know that some people can't necessarily relate because they're so different to me.
Mhm.
Um, it is what it is. I try to I aim to please, but I also aim to please myself. And we're happy to serve you guys, and I'm happy to serve myself too, as the way it should
Well,
be.
actually, that is but natural because how can you entertain others if if you're not even able to entertain yourself? Meaning, if you don't get to
Exactly.
appreciate what you do, what tells you that they could be appreciated by others? It has to be appreciated. It has to be loved first by yourself. Like you have to love yourself first, learn to love yourself before you can love others. Anyways,
You're exactly right, Imabel.
yeah.
And I'd like to expand upon what you're
Mhm.
saying. If the creator of the content, which in this case it would be me, if you're excited about what you're doing and having fun with what you're doing, well, that's just going to come across in the video. It's just going to make for a much better video for the viewer if the person making it
Mhm.
is having fun and into what they're doing, as opposed to, and I've done this a few times before and I try and avoid it, where you're doing something that you're not all that into and it just comes out. It's not ideal. You got to be an artist. The best thing that you can be, some artists, they believe that you need to be in pain and darkness,
Mhm.
but artists that do that, they typically use a lot of drugs and alcohol, and then they think that makes them more creative. is what's happening is that's just putting them in a better state. It's easing their pain so they can be in a better place mentally when they create their art. They're
Mm-hmm.
not getting their brilliance of artwork from their pain and misery, and they're not really getting it from the drugs and alcohol. That's just enabling them to get in a better state mentally and emotionally to get to like their happy place or at least numb the pain so they can release that art in them.
And speaking of doing something that you really love doing, um, we got to meet some viewers, avid viewers of the channel, and to be specific, they are members actually of our Patreon family. Hi there to all the members of our Patreon family. You can check that out, patreon.com/craft. And I I always ask them a few questions, and one of them is, what what do you think set Travis's videos or Travis's channel apart from other videos about the Philippines? And they would really tell me different things, but most of them, one common denominator is that they like it because it's fun, light-hearted, artistic, creative. It's made in a very creative way. Plus, it is not sugar coated. Like Travis just really gives you, and I'm also part of the channel, but I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be biased about the channel, but I just from an objective point of view, it's more important to give you the accurate information because since Travis we receive tons of emails every day asking for travel tips, advice. Is it safe in the Philippines? Where to go? What to do? And if we try to sugarcoat some information just to like to entertain you, like to keep you watching, you know what I mean? It's he we would feel that sense of responsible we have
Hmm.
that sense of responsibility towards you because we don't want to mislead you or anything like that. And I think that's one very important quality of the videos on Travis's channel.
Okay, thank you for that, Isabel. Let's get to some of these questions.
Sure.
One thing that I'd like to point out before we get to these questions, there is a
Uh-huh.
little bit of a delay. I don't know if that's a 30-second delay, a
Uh-huh.
3-minute delay, a 5-minute delay. I don't know what the delay is right now, but
Let's try to
let me
go
let me
to
scroll
the
back and get to your guys'
yeah, the
questions.
comments are moving so
Got King
fast.
Ruel. He says, "Guys, notice me." I
Oh,
think we
we
did,
did.
but
Yeah.
it's on a delay too. So where are we?
Justin Wood said, "I'm going to Cebu this week. Been there before. Love it. Yeah,
Oh,
Cebu
very
is very
cool. We
nice.
took my parents
We
there.
yes, we took mom and dad there, and they loved it. We loved it. It was your first time in Cebu that time,
Someone, if you
and
missed a question here, how do you guys feel about Philippines leaving the UN? Is it good or bad?
um,
Probably good. I mean, do we
no,
really need a
actually,
UN?
before
I don't
answering
know.
that question, the
Probably.
Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary um, announced that the Philippines is not leaving the United Nations. It was just out of,
Well,
I
the
guess, the
president like
president got carried
made remarks
away
about it.
and he said, he gave that statement, but he didn't really mean it. I mean, it's not really happening.
I don't know that we need a UN,
No,
especially the United States. I don't know that we should have one even.
according to experts on,
I don't
these
think the UN looks out for your
international
best
foreign
interests.
policy and stuff, actually it does because they
Not
said
for the
being a
US
member of the
though.
United Nations, it gives the it it's I think it makes it easy to go to some countries because we're
I
part
don't
of this.
think it does.
That's what they said. I mean, I'm just trying
I
to
don't
share with
think
you
the
what they
UN does
said.
much of anything. It's just a
Oh,
political
actually,
organization.
no, they've been sending aid to the Philippines,
That's
especially during the
true.
calamities. So you can't
That's
really.
true.
That's
I don't think the United
no.
States really
President
benefits
Duterte
from it.
actually said that like what was the last time that you when was the last time you held the Philippines? But actually, I think
It was probably
he should
mostly
have
the
been
United States and a
informed
few
that
other
United
countries that
Nations
did it though.
actually helped the Philippines during the Yolanda and other calamities that happened in the
Anyways,
Philippines.
moving on. Thank you for the question. Let me see. I love her, but she does not want to come with me to work hard.
That's Antonio
I'm not sure what
Bautista.
he's referring to there.
Is it your
Sorry.
girlfriend that you love,
I think we
but
might
she
have
does
missed
not want
something
to
there
come with you
previous.
to work hard? Where? What do
We
you mean work?
We got Adam Podesnik. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. 12:30 a.m. in Melbourne.
Hi there in
Good day, mate,
Melbourne.
out there in
And his
Australia.
answer to one of my questions earlier is,
His favorite video is the one where we got burglarized. Oh my.
yeah. Really? What? How come that's your favorite video? Well,
Christiane is here
Christian Cachero is
in Guam.
joining us again. Hi there. How are you and your loved ones in Guam? Hopefully everything is, everything's going well on your end. Supernova 66 from the Netherlands. I liked your Baguio vids among the other ones.
We
Wow,
love
thank
those too.
you.
Those
How
are
are you there,
underrated, I think.
Netherlands?
I think those are
Yeah,
like some of the best ones we've done in the past year
I
too when we
know.
went to Baguio.
Yeah.
Originally for that, I envisioned that was just going to be you and me
Mhm.
going, but it ended up turning your family wanted to go, and then I thought about, this could be kind of cool, because when I was envisioning in my head, it was just going to be a series just of you and me, but
Mhm.
then your family coming, it turned into something else, a whole family vacation. But we also had the last two videos out of the five were just you and me doing
And
different stuff.
friends.
So we covered a lot of different things, a family vacation,
A couple
and then more
vacation
of like an adult
with friends,
vacation.
yeah, individual.
Like
Yeah.
it's more like adult stuff. Just the
Uh-huh.
last 2 days is like adults, just stuff that
Without
older
kids.
people would want to do without kids.
Yeah.
So that was cool. We had a wide range from the first video all the way to the fifth video, and I liked the family element. It was fun. Saki got to guest star
Yeah,
in some more
thank you
videos.
for that, Supernova 66. Gary Farinas said, "Hi guys, it's 5:35 p.m. here in Jeddah. My favorite video when Travis' parents visited the Philippines." Gary,
Some of
kumusta ka dyan sa Jeddah? You're Filipino, right? Sana ay naging maganda ang araw mo.
some of my favorite videos too. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Gary.
Justin Wood.
You ever been to Palawan? Sorry if I may smell it wrong. My fiance has her birthday and it's when two and what's this? And it's when 2 years together. Oh, okay. So Justin Wood, I'm sure you had a lot of fun in Palawan. We did not go to Palawan yet, but
Have you
that's
been there?
no. My mom went there and she loved it. My younger brother went there and he loves it. And so that could be that's still one a part of our list of a place to show you guys into
And
future.
and he's in Colorado, and I believe my brother went to grad school in Colorado, northern Colorado in Greeley. So that's where he got his master's. Then he got his PhD from someplace in Alabama. I'm not really
Hmm.
sure what.
And we hope the best for you, Justin, for you and your fiance. It's so cool. Joe Ban. Hi, Travis. When was the last time you went home? It's 7:38 a.m. here. Time check. Time check. It's 10:46 p.m. in the Philippines.
It was the last time I went home. I don't know almost if I have a home anymore. Like, I guess, of course, home, I think, hopefully will always be the United States of America. But it's been, I don't know offhand, I guess, but too long. We got to remedy that, don't we? We got to make a little trip over to the United
Let's
States.
make it
So,
shorter than the travel.
yeah, we got to do something about that. I've thought about it a lot lately, so
Check out.
I've
Just
thought a
fill
lot
us out.
seriously about it. So yeah, keep watching. We'll do something with that. I've thought too. I thought a great series would be, since I do all these travel videos and exploring different things, if I could do a series, but of course it would take money, where I explore different things within the United States, little cultures and subcultures. I've seen a lot of the United States, but there's still, especially in the South, there's still a lot of things I haven't seen or experienced.
USA is so big, and it's like, do you think before going to Asia, it'll be? I mean, does it make a difference if you are able to go around the U.S. first before going out of USA?
Say that again, please.
It, does it make a difference if you get to go around the U.S. before even going out of your country?
I don't think most Americans appreciate our own
Mm-hmm.
country They definitely don't. But leaving the country definitely makes you have a new appreciation for it, especially once you've been outside the country, living outside the country as long as I have.
Mm-hmm.
You miss it, and I definitely. One thing I'd like to say about the United States, I love my country. Of course, we have a lot of imperfections, a lot of issues, especially now. But when I left the United States in 2012, I was a lot more optimistic in a way. I think the country was in a different place culturally and just the whole general mood of the
Mm-hmm.
country. And there's all these guys that would write me like, "Oh, I want to move to the Philippines. I hate the USA," and they had these very negative attitudes. And even though some of their points were valid, I call
Mm-hmm.
these guys the doomsdayers because they think the United States is going to fail. And they talk about it as if that's what they're rooting for. But
Mm-hmm.
now, definitely, I think things have gotten much, much worse now than when I left, which wasn't all that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not rooting for the United States to fall, of course, because that's where I'm from. But I think that we're in a little bit darker times right now, especially this current election. It's really bringing out the worst of society in many
Mm-hmm.
ways.
Well, that's it's kind of sad to hear that, but that just reminds me myself
But
to
hopefully, good
keep
overcomes
praying
evil.
for the country
Hopefully,
and
good
our
in
world.
the end. Hopefully, it's a learning experience and good overcomes evil. And if the United States has to fall and can no longer exist or be the world power, hopefully we're replaced by something better.
Which would
So,
be the
which
Philippines.
yeah,
I'm just kidding. Anyways, who knows? Why not? I should have like a big vision for my country. Anyways,
it could be your people taking us over the Muslims like they're taking over Europe, your people.
well, just to Travis saying the Muslim people are bad people. My father is a Muslim, my mother is a Catholic, and I'm a Christian. So just to giving you the accurate info. But I love you all guys. Anyways, let's start to.
They said before you get to that real quick,
Mhm.
I'd like to say I saw this article. I almost did a whole video about it. Some article, it was all over the media, that Muslim fencer from the United States. I saw that she got all this media attention just because she insisted on wearing her Muslim outfit to compete in. And like I saw an article that she's a ray of hope for the United States. Now let me say this. How is she a ray of hope for the United
It's
States?
Madonna's song. No, I was
But
kidding.
I don't know.
No,
But
I
how
was
how
just
is that a
kidding.
ray of hope for the United
Ray.
States that
Okay.
she's part of some weird foreign culture and religion? And I think about it this way. Can you imagine if a Catholic nun was going to compete in the Olympics, but insisted she wear her nun outfit to compete in? People would mock her. People would make fun of her. They'd call her a religious wacko and a freak. But because it's a Muslim, oh, she gets praised about it. There's people that even wanted her to be the flag bearer in the opening ceremony instead of Michael Phelps. She'd never even been in an Olympics just
Mm-hmm.
because she's a minority and because she's part of another religion. They think that she could get these special privileges over someone that's actually accomplished something. But a ray of hope, it would be a ray of hope if the Muslims ended their wars in the Middle East, or if they left Europe and went back to fix their own countries. That would be a ray of hope. But someone competing with their head covered, I mean, I don't see how that's a ray of hope for me or my people or my country. I mean, that's just propaganda, man. But that's the media for you. Recently, in one of our live streams, we talked about CNN, how they're faking those stories, which is not a new thing. They've been faking stories from the beginning. There's a video on YouTube
Uh-huh.
where in the first Gulf War in the early 90s, they had video released before the story where the guy's on a set and there's a blue screen behind him and he's joking around. And then when they do the report, they swap out the
Uh-huh.
background and he's like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh my God, we're under attack here in Iraq. Oh, things are really going crazy." But it was all staged. He was on a set in, I think, Atlanta at their
Uh-huh.
offices, at their studios. So I mean, we have so much with this new election cycle and stuff. One of the things that's we were the media propaganda is out in full force. And I remember when I was a little kid, they'd say, "Oh, that's for the Russians or that's for the Middle East." They brainwash their people with media propaganda. But I think a lot of that's really been exposed, especially with the internet lately, about in the United States. We're no better than anyone else with our propaganda machine.
Well, with in this time and age, look at social media and just how advanced the internet has gone. Everything could be easily faked, and
But I'm sorry I got a bit serious there. Talking
well,
about your Muslim
I
people. I'm
would
just
I
kidding.
would
I give
say
her a
I
hard
would
time.
say
Hit
I would say, well, I guess it's just a reminder for us to not easily believe what the
Yeah,
media
definitely.
tells us. I mean, we have to, if we can always, check out research and do research to make sure that we're really getting
And let
the
me
truth.
say this, I have nothing against Muslims, but I don't think that they should get special privileges for being part of a minority. Like a week ago, there was a Muslim, what's the priest? What are they called?
Imam,
A Muslim imam was murdered in New York
imam,
City. This was at the gym playing on CNN on the TV when we were at the gym, and a Muslim imam, which is like their priest, was
imam.
murdered in New York City. They didn't even have a suspect yet, and the mayor of New York City's going, oh, we're gonna use all our resources in the city to find the killer, and these Muslims face discrimination. They're trying to make it sound like a Donald Trump supporter did, which it was a Hispanic guy apparently in the end. But they were saying, oh, they face discrimination. You don't even have a suspect, and you're already telling us it's a hate crime. And the motivation was he was killed just because he's Muslim, and you have no clue who did it at that point, and saying that we're going to pool all the resources. Well, unfortunately, we had a member, one of my relatives was murdered by a racial minority too.
It was
But
years ago.
yeah, this wasn't recent, but they didn't. The police didn't seem to care. The government didn't care. The media didn't really care. There wasn't the mayor going, we're going to pool all our research and we're going to pool all our resources and make sure this person's killed. But why should this guy that's just part of a different religion? He's not even an American. Why does he get all this special attention? Well, obviously, it sells the story that they're trying to tell us, that oh, we got to be so good to these Muslims, and like, oh, let's make them all look like a bunch of saints, when we don't even know who these people are. We don't know these people from Adam. They don't even know who the suspect that murdered them is, and they're trying to make you believe it's some crazed Donald Trump supporter. When in the end, it had nothing to do with that when they caught the guy. So, but let's get to these questions, shall we?
Sure.
Let me see. It's nice to see you guys again. Thank you, Hazel.
Hi, Hazel Jimenez.
Hi, David, who's going to Cebu in 2 weeks.
Enjoy your vacation then.
Sandra Betancourt. What's your next project, Travis? She's in Canada.
Hi there in Canada.
I'm not sure exactly what we got cooking. I have a lot of video to edit for you guys, but what's our next project?
Just watch
I'm
out for more
Yeah, I'm
surprises.
trying to put together a few things, a few surprises for you guys. Some of these things take money and they take resources, so it's not as simple as that. Otherwise, it would have already been done.
That's
So,
why we're really thankful to our Patreon family as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
helping us bring these videos and do bigger and better things, helping cover our costs. But yeah, I hope to. I don't want to divulge everything. I'm hoping some things go through because there's some things I definitely like to do for you guys.
David Lyman asked, where did we stay in Cebu? We actually stayed in a
You
hotel
chose it.
there. I just can't remember the name.
I think
Uh,
you can see it in the videos with my parents, though. I don't
yeah.
remember.
Because what happened was, I actually I was not able to book earlier. I had to research and call a few hotels. After I researched on the internet, I called a few hotels the night before our flight to Cebu, and I'm just so happy and thankful that the hotel that I chose worked well for us. Um, well, I can't remember. I think it's seen on the video. What's important is I when I choose a hotel, especially when you go to like Cebu or a city, some Location, best location would be near the mall, so it's easy to go to the mall if you need anything. Make sure it's safe, a safe location. And for Metro Manila, make sure the area doesn't get easily flooded during heavy rains. And yeah, those are like a few tips I'd like to share with you guys. And John Riddle said, "Hey Travis."
Hi, John.
Christian Cachero, is there a type of food or restaurant you miss from the US? That's a good question, I think.
Yes. Mainly tacos and burritos. Like good tacos and burritos can be a little hard to get in the Philippines. They don't, although they do have over the past few years, they've gotten a lot more options in terms of that type of food. 5, 6, 7, especially 10 years ago, it was almost impossible to get a
Yeah,
taco or burrito in this country.
yeah. Now more restaurants.
Evan Cortez is in the
Oh, hi,
room,
Evan.
so glad that Evan, you've been with me all these years, watching, commenting. Thank you so much for that, Evan. We do appreciate it. Robin Hood says healthcare in the Philippines is no longer a service to humanity, but a service to business. Well, I think
That's a
that's,
good point.
I don't know any place in the world that has ideal healthcare. Yeah, they talk about how good it is in Europe and Canada. I hear about all kinds of problems with that. My grandparents are in their 90s, and it's really exposed, a lot of things. It really shows you a lot of things about how crappy healthcare is or can be in the United States. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think on this earth they have a good, an ideal healthcare
Well,
unless you're a multimillionaire. And then the bottom line too is if you get something really bad, they still can't save you with all the money in the world. So
mhm.
try and stay healthy.
Evan, it's interesting to hear this from Evan Cortez. He said it's really not bad. Like, it's not really bad in US. I mean, because we see things on the TV and they're
It's a
really
good point.
worse. So thank you for pointing that out.
He says the media sensationalizes and exaggerates everything. Like, yeah, that's a good point too. They're always going to show you the worst of things, and especially CNN's going to become just such a blatant propaganda piece. I even saw a video the other day where a CNN host admitted that they were trying to help Hillary Clinton win the election. It's kind of funny because there's a co-host too, and she kind of looked at him like, "You're not supposed to say that on the air. We're supposed to kind of keep that as a little bit of a secret. You're not supposed to outright say it." So he gave him a funny look. But I saw a video where he admitted on the air that they were doing everything they could to get Hillary Clinton elected. Um, but yeah, like he makes a good point. I remember years ago in 2007 when I was at the Mr. World in China, and I watched some CNN before like the day's events,
Mm-hmm.
and had some protest going on in Egypt against the United States. And I went and I talked to Mr. Egypt and I said, "Oh, I saw CNN today, and like apparently they hate Americans there. They hate the United States. They're protesting against us." And
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Egypt said to me, he said, "Listen, most people in Egypt really like the United States and want to go to the United States." He said, "That's just the news. Of course, they're going to show you the most extreme thing. That's not representative by any means of the general population of Egypt. They're just trying to create a story and show you the most extreme minority they can find and make it an
Yeah,
issue."
of
So
course they
that's not
want
representative of
of
us.
course they want to get super high ratings. So as much as possible they want to make their stories more interesting, more catchy, and just so people really watch it and follow it.
And let me say this about Muslims because maybe I sounded a little too harsh. She's from a Muslim background. I've always kidded her and given her a hard time over it. But we met some Muslim guys about a week or two, right? We met a couple nice, really nice Muslim guys from Malaysia. They were associates of Kevin, our friend Kevin, and these guys are really nice. And they were telling us too, yeah, we're Muslim, but those terrorists and stuff, we don't want any association with them. We don't like that people think of Muslims that way. They
Hmm.
don't represent our religion or our people. And these guys were really, they seemed like lovely guys, Muslim guys. And I
Hmm.
understood where they're coming from. I've had videos with like Indonesians and Malaysians that are Muslims.
Hmm.
I don't really have a problem with Muslims. I just don't want Muslims, especially in the United States, to get special privileges over our native people stuff and people. I don't think that's right that the way that they act like anyone that's a Muslim is a saint and should be worshipped now. Oh, this Muslim Olympian, oh, she should carry the flag instead of a guy that's actually accomplished things. We have this tall white man. He should step aside for this black Muslim girl, even though she's never actually accomplished anything in the Olympics, and he's very decorated and famous and popular. It's all a bunch of nonsense. So that's what annoys me. I don't have anything against your average Muslim, of course, and obviously most Muslims aren't bad. The problem is we don't know who's bad and who's good. That's the whole issue that's going on right now. We don't know what these are new times with all this, like these terrorist threats to this level. So we haven't figured out what's going on. So you have to proceed with caution, and that's my philosophy, anyways.
Well, I'm not trying to be on the side of the Muslims or on the non-Muslims, but I would say just when you were talking about the Olympic thing, I think since they need someone to represent USA, then it's but it's but what's this? It's just common sense to use or to send someone to make someone who is really a Native American or I don't no not Native American. I don't mean
Not
Indian.
American
Not
Indian.
American Indians. I mean someone who is really.
They did have a decorated American Indian
But
athlete decades
I
ago.
mean it's kind of hard though because if you say real American, but real Americans they have ancestry of from like Germans, some Russians,
Or
Irish.
black, I think black too, because
Yeah,
they've definitely been in the country long, like longer than most white people's ancestors. So, but I asked you an interesting question that I hope I'm going to share with them. I don't think you'll get angry about. But I asked, what would your dad think of Donald Trump? Would he be against him? But you said maybe not. You don't know how your dad would feel.
my father he was a retired Philippine army officer and he is aware of all these
The terrorists, or
government stuff and just the policies and all that. I am sure that he would not react like no I hate Trump or whatever.
yeah, because
I'm
initial
sure he
reaction you'd
would
assume he would hate Trump. But then you said it's hard to say because he is a man of law and order. Of
yeah
he's in the military and he worked to fight against terrorism. So maybe he would understand too that it's a delicate situation that you have
yeah
to proceed with caution when dealing with Muslims. You can't just necessarily let people have free reign when you don't know who they are.
yeah and because of his job he had to work deal with Muslims, non-Muslims. He was a people
He,
person.
he
So
was friendly to the gays, you were telling
not
me.
like friendly. He's just friendly in general. I think I took
To
after him.
people of
He's
lifestyles that would be a sin to him.
he's just he's. I mean, like when he after he passed away, I was so. It was a pleasant surprise to me to meet people that I haven't met, to see them, you know, because I just realized how friendly my father was, and I just loved it. It's such a great quality that a great quality to emulate, and it's a blessing, I would say, and have it. Okay, let's
This is a
move
good
on to the
question from
next.
Game Union.
Yeah, I saw that
Go ahead.
actually. Game Union asked, "Do you guys prefer the music from before or now?" Before. I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm from old school, or maybe I don't know. Maybe you can tell I am not. I'm not a millennial, so I'm not part of the millennials. I
Well,
have
I don't know
nothing.
when that starts.
I
When did the
I'm not
millennials
sure,
start?
but
When
I
were they
I
born?
love the millennials. I have nothing against them or the very young people, because in fact they
People that
love
are like
me.
20,
Yeah, they
yeah.
love me too. We love each other. No, I mean it's a personal choice. I was telling Travis this actually, Game Union. I think you'd really know. I could really say that the singers, musicians, the singers in particular in the past are better singers than the new ones, because in the past they couldn't edit it, they couldn't do any post production to their voices, to their recording, or to the live shows. So I think they were pure talent. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that the singers now are not so talented, but I would say I admire them because I'm just sure that they're really that pure of a talent, and they didn't need, what do you call this? Like even during live concerts, right? There were instances that they were not really singing live, but in the past, how could they do that? Would they record it? Would it be pre-recorded? But they
Yeah.
didn't have the technology yet for that. So I think and another thing, I think I don't get tired listening to the old songs, singing them as well.
I'll tell you who Imabel's favorite band is, and it's the Butthole Surfers. She loves the Butthole Surfers, and she's always like, "Oh, Travis, man, you got to hear this tune by the Butthole
What is it?
Surfers."
I don't
So
even
she's going. She always goes on and on about the Butthole
Now that you
Surfers.
said that, you have to sing
So
it because I don't know any of their
yeah,
songs.
she loves and loves the Butthole Surfers. It's her favorite. I don't even know like any song by the Butthole Surfers really is
Yeah,
something that's right
right.
up Imabel's alleyway.
I don't
For
know what the
me,
songs are. I
for
have to look
me,
them up then.
yeah, I like music from anything before maybe around 1995, 1996. I generally like. It started to go downhill quickly in the
I
second
even
half
like
of the
the songs
90s.
before those years that you just mentioned, even like the classic ones,
Yeah,
the
Morrissey.
old.
You like Morrissey?
You like more, I
I like
say.
Morrissey, but do you like Morrissey? Less?
He's okay.
He's okay. I like Morrissey. Morrissey. I don't like the Smiths so much as I like Morrissey's solo work.
Hmm.
By the way, we mentioned Egypt earlier. I think the president or the former president, his name is also Morrissey, but spelled differently. But
That's cool.
they had a president named Morrissey, but it was a
Cool.
different spelling. It was like Morrisi, something like that.
Then it's Morrissey.
Morrissey.
Morrissey. Morrissey.
That's a cool name, Morrissey.
Yeah. Are we gonna name someone Morrissey in the future?
I like, I like, I like a lot of rock music, I guess. Not so much anymore. I don't really like rock music as much as I used to when I was younger, I
Rock
guess.
music is rock music now noisier and
Well, there's a lot of different types of
oh,
rock
not
music.
really.
I guess my all-time favorite group would be Stone Temple Pilots, even though they're kind of, I feel like they've become a joke now. And I feel like maybe if you tell maybe a 20-year-old or a teenager you like STP, maybe it's like saying to someone of my generation, I like Journey. Because if you'd say something like that, where I like Motley Crue or something, if you say that to someone my age, they'll laugh at you if you say you like Motley Crue or something like that. But I think that STP now, they always kind of had a classic rock vibe to them. They always fit in with classic rock even when it was new, but now it's really old and they're looking for a new lead singer. Um, their other lead singer they fired and then he died. That which is a good example. Don't do drugs. I'm against drugs and that's why I'm against drugs. Look at what can happen when you mess with hard drugs, especially if you do it for a long period of time, like Scott
Mm-hmm.
Weiland.
Mm-hmm.
But
For him.
for
Hopefully.
him, but it was a decision that he made on his own, and people told
Yeah.
him that he was in jail even, and they've given him love, they've given
He
him tough
had he
love.
had all the
He
chances.
had
He
all the
could.
chances for decades, and but he was really into hard drugs, heroin and
Mm-hmm.
cocaine and hardcore alcohol and stuff. I mean, it was just plus coupled with I think some depression
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. That's just going to make things worse,
Well,
not just with the drugs,
I
but it
hope his
weakens your immune
family, his
system.
children are doing great despite
Going to
what
be growing
happened
up
to
without a
him.
dad now.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that they would not be fine. So hopefully.
That typical rock and roll story of the guy dying of drugs. That's all too common of a story,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Game Union also asked, and have you guys went to SMC site in Cebu? It's so big. It took me 6 hours to explore them all.
I don't
Actually, it
remember if
was
we did.
still it was still being constructed that time, so it was not open yet when we went there.
I'd also like to say, going back to his question about music, it's a good question. My favorite group is STP, but I also like a lot of lo-fi music. I like Pavement. Pavement's a good group
I
too.
like Pavement. I like some songs of STP. He actually introduced me to these two groups, and I started loving some of their songs, many of their songs. I even played them on my radio show actually.
She introduced me to the Butthole Surfers.
No, I don't even know that band. Anyways, let's
So,
move on to the
but
next.
oh yeah, I like lo-fi music. Is mostly like typical. That's probably the whitest type of music that you can have, like for white. Like that's really mostly white people that like that. Even country music, I think you have a lot more. There are a lot of black people that like country music, but I think something about lo-fi music. It's like, and of course there are people of other races that also like that. But generally, it's like something that's like, okay, this person's really a white person if that's what they like. That and like noise
Yeah,
rock too. It's like it's so geared towards
that's
white
what I
people.
told you. When you listen to that kind of music, I was like, to me, it just sounds like noise. It doesn't. I don't hear
It's just
any.
another
I don't
genre.
hear any harmony in it because I well
But I do.
we have different tastes in music, so
Pop.
that's how I find
Well,
the type of music he
you pose an interesting question.
listens
Why
to.
is it that me and a lot of white people find harmony in that somehow, but you don't? Is it because of genetic differences?
I don't
Like
know.
genetically, maybe we have a different sense of internal rhythm or something like that. I think there could be something to that. It's in the DNA.
Possible, or maybe because of the kinds of music that I grew up with.
Maybe your ancestors 1,000 years ago they were on the drums, and
Yeah,
mine were like shredding some sort of
I
makeshift
love that.
guitar or something.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
were like
I don't
me.
know.
Anyways, next, Robin Hood, chicken or pork adobo? If you are referring to the American adobo video, the super
I think they're
viral
just
video,
asking what
Travis.
I like to eat.
Oh, okay. Well, his favorite food,
Chicken,
Calderette.
of course,
Yeah,
for the
chicken,
adobo. What do I
chicken
prefer,
adobo.
chicken or pork adobo?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, adobo manuk.
Exactly.
And Master Joey asks, "What's your shoe size, Travis? Well,
Are
I hope
you
you're planning
are you
on."
gonna buy him a pair of shoes?
Yeah,
Make it two pairs.
you better give him
One,
your shoe size too.
yeah.
I usually wear an 11, an American 11. I think usually
Why
fits
are
me
you
pretty. It's not
asking
too
Travis's
loose.
shoes only? Why not
I'm
mine?
hoping, yeah, hopefully we get some
Well,
new shoes out of
I
this,
will have to
Joey.
remember that, Master Joey. You could buy him, like, what kind of shoes do you like, anyways?
What kind of shoes?
Yeah, to give Master Joey an idea, because he asked for shoes.
Right now I'm wearing New Balance, and it's the first pair of New Balance that I've ever owned.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're pretty good though. It's the first pair of New Balance I've ever owned, but I really like it so far. Because usually I wear like Adidas or yeah, I guess usually Adidas for sneakers, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had Fila before that recently.
Well,
That
what
was the
would you
first
like
pair
to
of Fila.
have?
I like the New Balance that I have.
You
Those
want
seem
to
to
have
work pretty
another
good
pair
for
of
me.
that?
Or some Doc Martens maybe. I don't know
Oh,
for a different
cool.
type of shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Martens are always good, but
Okay, good. You can take note of that, Master Joey. And Ibrahim Bile or Bile. Hi back to you. And Sally Al Yeldin said, "Hey Travis and Immobile, I want to ask your opinion on neck wallets, which hang to your chest under your shirt. Do you feel this would be an effective solution to prevent pickpockets?" You know what?
it's a good question.
That's what mom and dad did.
My parents did that when they were here, and it
Yes.
seemed to work well for them. I
Yeah.
think it is safe. Just make sure no one cuts like if the thing is exposed from the back of your shirt or where. Yeah, still just be cautious.
Well,
But I think it's
if
not a
it
bad
gets
idea.
cut there, at least you still feel it's still in your stomach. Just make sure that
Yeah, they'd
yeah,
have to reach into your
it
shirt
doesn't slip
probably,
into under your shirt
unless
if
they
it's
could
not.
cut it from. I think it's
No,
pretty safe.
if your shirt is not tucked in, then it could just fall. But I'm sure it's still safe.
I like them.
That's a
I
good
like them.
idea, Sammy. I think that would be a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something I would use, but I live here and I'm pretty careful. But for a tourist, yeah, I think that's a good idea. My parents used them.
Yeah.
It worked great for my parents. I
Yeah.
think I even use them on the plane flying over, man.
Yeah.
I
That's
think it's a
true.
good idea.
Yeah. And but this is just a reminder. Of course, you wouldn't. I don't think it's a good idea to bring super big amount of money like cash when you travel. Maybe you could send yourself money when you're here or something, or you could deposit to your bank. I don't know,
Moving on.
something like that. Moving on, Valley Isle guy, have you tried Favorito? Yummy. What's Favorito?
Never heard of it.
Favorito or Paborito? Favorite. That's Filipino word. Paborito.
Sammy retracted his message. I didn't even know you can do that. Maybe he deleted it or something, but we answered it. Charles Brown, hi, love your YouTube stuff. Thank you, Charles. Is the feed choppy for anyone else? I hope this isn't too choppy. Like I said, this is just kind of a test broadcast. I lowered the resolution, so hopefully it's working slightly better now. I don't know.
Steve Stevens is a good question.
Go ahead.
Hey Travis, your parents seemed to have a great time when they were in the Philippines. Do you anticipate any trips from them in the future to come back? They are awesome people. Yes, they are very awesome. I love them.
Good question. I know my dad at least wants to come back. They're trying to find a time in their schedule, but I'm almost
They're looking forward to that,
I don't know.
especially Dad.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen because we might be in the United States before they would come here. So I'm not, it's hard to say, but I know my dad wants to come back. So, but we
We'll
also
see.
want to go to the United States, so we'll see what happens first.
Hmm.
It's a little,
I,
it's hard to say what's going to happen in our lives even a week or two from now.
like
It's
what
too
I
hard to
said, just
say.
watch out for upcoming videos and stuff.
But thank you for the question. See
Evan
it.
Cortez said,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
CNN doesn't even pretend to be objective anymore. They want
True.
Hillary. I know it's amazing how they
Exactly,
don't
Evan
pretend.
Cortez.
Like I said, how that guy even admitted that
Yes,
they on
it's like so
camera.
obvious, like, what? That just sucks.
Aaron DHN says hello. Well, hello to you too.
Hello,
Uh,
hello, hello. Ronnie Rodriguez, hello back to you. Good. It's good to see you here.
I gotta scroll back now. I mean,
Valley
okay.
Isle guy said Butthole Surfers is amazing. Really? I have to check them out later then.
A, a, a Valley guy. Is that what you read?
Valley Isle guy said apparently 50 million pesos has been paid to Abu Sayyaf for the release of the Norwegian hostage, and now they still aren't releasing him. I haven't really seen the news lately, so I can't really talk about that. But if that's what happened,
I haven't seen that in the news actually
that's just
either.
a very bad,
Maybe they're
sad
hiding it
story.
from us here. I don't know.
No, it
No,
should
or
be
we
in
just
the
haven't been we haven't
come
been paying
on, we don't
attention
get
either.
to watch the news every day, so that's it.
I
Basically,
see the
that's it.
news every day, just more international news than what you see. I'm very aware, at least as much as I can be, while not being in these other places. I'm very aware what's going on in the world politically and like the whole all these movements in the world as much as you can be aware looking at it from the outside without being there, like what's going on in Germany, what's going on in Sweden. Obviously I don't have firsthand experience because I'm not there, but as best as you can be informed while not being able to be there, so
It's always
which is a different
good
perspective.
to be updated with the news, but you also have to choose what kind of stories to listen to because they can they can just make you stress. They can just stress you out. So be positive
You're from
vibes.
Norway, right? Valley Isle guy. You're from. I think that's why he was talking about Norwegian hostages.
Oh,
I think he's from Norway. But he also says Butthole Surfers is amazing. So there you go. Another recommendation for
I
the
heard.
Butthole
Yeah, I
Surfers.
read that. I said I'm gonna check it out later.
Ronnie Rodriguez. Uh, he's commenting and he says 80s music rules. We were just discussing this last night too because we watched the movie. I forget what the movie's
Like
called, but we
father,
were.
like
Oh yeah,
son.
Like Father, Like Son. It stars Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron,
I
and
didn't recognize those Kirk because he was younger.
she
I
likes
was
Kirk
I
Cameron,
was expecting for an adult Kirk Cameron. Like, why is he
but the
there?
movie's made in the 80s. I was thinking
And
because
then when you said that he's young, there's okay, so that
I
he's the
had to
son in it.
explain to her because you see, Imabel, she knows Kirk Cameron, but when she thinks of Kirk Cameron, she thinks of the middle-aged Kirk
And
Cameron.
I
And I
like
told
him.
her in America, when you say Kirk Cameron, what they imagine what comes into their head is like the teenage Kirk Cameron when he was on that TV show. That's what he's known. Imabel's the only one that has not seen him as a young guy. and she just thinks of him as always being a middle-aged man.
Is there anything wrong with that?
But we watched this movie. It's actually not a bad movie. It's a little corny,
Well, it
but
was fun. I think
it was a
80s.
fun movie in
I
the
think
80s.
80s movies were just like that. It's just fun, positive,
I think the
not
80s,
dark
yeah,
themed like the movies that you'd see now.
I can't say too much from firsthand experience, but I think that's what the 80s were like in general. Just a fun, easygoing time for
Yeah.
America. And things were going pretty good in general in America, I think, during that time. But the movie was full of 80s music.
Uh huh.
And I was saying, I think the 80s had the best movies. I don't
Mm.
like the music generally, most music from the 80s. I think that had like Motley Crue on the soundtrack. It had a lot of pop. It had Wang Chung on the
80s
soundtrack.
music is fine, I
But
would say.
good movie. A lot. We watched the movie Zap too recently, which was in the early '80s with Scott Baio. By the way, speaking of Scott Baio, several months ago we had a live stream where we announced Scott Baio's support for Donald Trump, how he's a big
Uh huh.
Trump supporter. And then recently he spoke at the RNC, but we broke it to you first that Scott Baio was in the trenches with Donald Trump. So we broke that first, that news. See, it tells you how aware I am of what's going on in the world. I was talking about that months ago that Scott Baio was a Trump supporter and that he had certain beliefs. And then sure enough, he gives a speech at the RNC. I called it. I didn't say he was gonna be at the RNC, but I called him out and said these are his beliefs. We broke the news, and then sure enough, but we watched Zapped with Scott Baio. She liked it quite a bit. I didn't think it was the greatest movie. It had its moments, I suppose.
It was fun. I just didn't
There's
like
another
it.
80s
I
zany
just didn't
comedy.
like the scenes.
All the
Um,
nudity.
yeah, because they're in high school, right?
They're in
Like,
high school, but like there's boobs all throughout the movie exposed. But it's like a high school movie full of nudity. But
like I even remember I asked you this. Is that really how Americans are? Like they just kiss in front of many people, and they would just be so
and there's
that
boobs
they would
everywhere in
just
high
be
school in America.
what's the word again? Like they would just do this public display of affection, like literally. I asked you that, but anyways. So Evan Cortez actually loved the Smiths when he was a kid,
Like I
and
said, this to me the Smiths are okay. I much prefer Morrissey's solo work. I think that's really where it's at. The
yeah,
little bit older the older Morrissey actually got better with age.
yeah. It's kind of hard to. Can you move it? Help me move it so we can see other videos. Comments. I mean, there's just a thought. I was thinking of this earlier. We should actually. I think it's a great idea. I already mentioned this to you last time, and you said it's a good idea to hold like an exclusive live stream with our Patreon family. So it'll be like with fewer people, and we could address their questions as well. Just want to share with you actually our Patreon family. They because we get a lot of questions every day. We cannot, as much as we want to address the questions that we get on the email every day, but we cannot do it because we also have to spend our time for other things, right? But the Patreon family is a priority. That is actually an advantage, and I think at least we get to prioritize answering their questions. So it's very important to us. Yeah, but anyways,
Robin Hood asks, "What's your favorite British band?" I'm not really sure that I can think of
um,
the
hold
Rolling
on.
Stones. I'm gonna go with the Rolling Stones, but that's
What's the
classic.
name of this? Is Filippo Lippi British or
I
American?
don't know what that is.
Okay, there. Robin Hood is from Lippo Lippi British. It's not rock band, but it's a band, right? I love their songs, I think. You know, like that one, like over there, just beneath the moon. There's whatever that one. I can't remember all the lyrics, but I love that. Yeah, Filippo Lippi. Tell me, Robin Hood, if that's British or not.
I'm gonna go with the Rolling Stones, but maybe he wants something more recent.
Oh, the
I'm
boy.
trying to think of
When I
a
was in
recent
college, I
British.
think, when I was younger or high school, I can't remember. I liked a few boy bands from UK. Was that, God, I can't even remember. I can't remember the name of the boy band, but yeah, I like that. Hold on, what's the name again? I can't
I'll
remember.
say
I can't.
this. I
Anyways,
recently watched a documentary on HBO about the Who, and the Who are British. Although again, they're not a recent. They're not a. By no means are they much more recent than the Rolling Stones. Uh, but newer British bands. I guess the Smiths would be a British band, but as I said, I like Morrissey better, who is
mm,
British.
yeah.
Uh, but
But the
even
Smiths were
Morrissey
they
is really
British?
old. Yeah, the Smiths are British.
Okay, so that's it. That answers the question then.
But I said I prefer Morrissey, who's went solo from the Smiths,
So
who's
if the
British.
Smiths don't have Morrissey, you don't like
But
them.
more like I'm giving all these old answers: the Rolling Stones, then the Who, which isn't much more recent than the Rolling Stones, and even if you say the Smiths or Morrissey, well, that's ancient by now. By the year we're in the year 2016. I'm not really sure. I guess I'd have to go with One Direction as my favorite British. No, I'm just I barely know what
Yeah,
they do.
right.
I know they're popular. I don't really know much about one, but they are. I
Anyways,
know they're British.
yeah.
At least I know they're
Well,
British. So give me
well,
credit for
our
that.
guy said every generation says the younger generation is not good anymore. LOL. Ronnie Rodriguez's rap equals crap.
Well, I'm with Ronnie on that one. No, there's
I'm
exceptions to the rule, though, of
Yeah,
course.
I'm not a fan of rap, but it's not that I hate it. I just one thing's for sure. I don't like rap that cusses. Any song
Who's your
that
favorite
cusses.
rapper?
Um,
I generally don't. I generally hate rap, but if
I
I had
don't
to pick a
know.
favorite
I don't
rapper,
know.
it might the answer will surprise you. I'm gonna go with Busta Rhymes. Hooah, hooah!
Who's
That's his thing.
what?
He's a
Who
90s like
sang that
guy. I think
song?
he's on steroids now
How
or
about that
something. He's all
song from
huge.
Dangerous Lives? As I
That's
walk through the
Coolio. I don't
jungle,
like
shadows.
Coolio.
I just like that
I don't
part,
like
but
Coolio.
for the entire song,
I
I'm
don't
not
like
sure about it.
Coolio. I don't like Snoop Dogg. I was in the gym of the apartment complex where we live a couple weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and they have like speakers, and you can plug like a cell phone or iPod or whatever in there. And some girl plugged in her phone, and she starts blasting really loud, like Snoop Dogg, and some song that had an N word practically every other word. And it's not that the N word freaks me out or I can't handle hearing it, but I don't know if I need to be in the gym hearing the N word constantly blasted at me while I'm trying to
I
work out.
know what
Does that
makes
make me
it
a
so
prude? I don't
cool.
know.
Even in movies, whenever I see a movie that doesn't really have cussing or very, very minimal cussing, I appreciate that movie. I would say because a lot of movies now just are filled with a lot of cussing. Anyways, Gringo V, Travis. Where is it now? Okay.
I missed some
Hi,
stuff.
Gringo V. We're trying to make sure we don't miss the comments. Hold on, JC Sahagan, what's up? I'm late for the party. You're not late yet, JC. You're joining us, and thank you so much.
Evan has an interesting comment here. Uh,
Which one? We have the same shoe size. He said
oh,
he could trade with you.
well, Evan says he doesn't buy Nikes anymore since they dropped Manny Pacquiao. Right now, my favorite shoe brand is New Balance and Under Armour. Under
That's
Armour,
very good. Yes.
I love Under Armour, but it's their stuff is so expensive, but
Thumbs
they
up
have
for
sweet
Evan
stuff.
Cortez.
But I was gonna say the same thing. I don't like Nike either because they dropped Manny Pacquiao, and I'm not even a Manny Pacquiao fan. But I don't like that they tried to be so politically correct and punish him for his beliefs. To me, that rubbed me the wrong way. And when they dropped Manny Pacquiao, I wouldn't want to pay for Nike either, just on principle. I don't like that they dropped Manny Pacquiao, and this is coming from someone that's not even really a Manny. I mean, I like Manny Pacquiao as a
But you're not
person.
like a
I would.
fan
I'm not a
fan.
fan. I'm not a huge boxing fan. My favorite boxer of all time is Mike Tyson. I like
Mm-hmm.
George Foreman too.
Mm-hmm. Foreman Grill.
I watched his new reality show last night,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the newer boxers and especially the lighter weights like that, I don't get into. I'm more into MMA. But yeah, when they dropped Manny Pacquiao, that really rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like that they tried to punish him for being politically incorrect. Let the
Mm-hmm.
man have his beliefs. You can come out and say we don't agree with what he believes,
Mm-hmm.
but we're gonna. That's actually what Under Armour did with Duck Dynasty. They didn't drop Duck Dynasty when a lot of people wanted them to, and it's just giving in to I didn't like it, so I didn't like them dropping Manny Pacquiao either. And like I said, that's coming from someone that's not even a Manny Pacquiao fan. I find it offensive that they did that.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to thank you guys. Whoever subscribed to my channel. I have my channel, by the way, that I haven't been able to upload new videos lately, but I just want to thank you because I think some of the subscribers I have are coming from the people joining us on the live stream as well. So thank you and thank you, Travis.
Master
So
Joey wants your shoe size. See, what's your shoe size in about?
oh, wow, that's so nice of you, Master Joey. Mine is, oh, this so, now I'm more excited, right? Mine is 6.5 or 7. I'm not sure
I
what that
think it was
is.
6.5.
I'm not sure what that is in
I think
what
that's U.S.
what that is
size. I
in
think
US.
you could
Yeah,
grab a pair of your shoes and take a look.
it's between
She needs some new workout shoes. Actually, she was just telling me.
because
Amabel's been working out.
I haven't really I don't really work out, and recently I started working out because Travis inspired me to work out. I'm not fat, but I think I just have. We guys
She's been
have
working out a little bit. She's
we
already starting
we
to
guys
hard up
have
in
to
her.
stay healthy,
Yeah.
right? We have to be healthy to live longer, healthy, meaningful, colorful lives. Yes, thank you, God. Anyways, so wow, so you're coming to the Philippines for vacation? That's so nice of you. God bless you, Master Joey. Yeah, maybe we could, I don't know, how could I email you? Maybe we could email you or you could email us. Maybe you could email Travis here on YouTube. So thank you so much in advance.
Valley Isle guy says Favorito is healthy but delicious Mexican. They have a location in Eastwood as well as Makati and BGC.
Oh, that's a
None of those
good,
places are too close to us though.
yeah, we can try that out sometime, I
The last
guess.
time we were in Eastwood was my birthday when we stayed out there one day, and then we went to Sambo Kojin.
Yes.
Um, in Eastwood, we stayed at Microtel for my
Mm-hmm.
birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Then we transferred to another Microtel in a different part of Quezon City. But that was the last time we were out that way. We live in Quezon City, but not by Eastwood. It's a different part. Quezon City is gigantic. It's the largest city by population in the Philippines, and physically, area-wise, it's extremely large. You'll drive so far and you'll still be in Quezon City. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And thank you, Valley Isle Guy, for that information. Green Govi, Travis, what Filipino snack do you like? Would you recommend it to your friends in the States?
Okay, I got this one. I'm gonna go with the old classic that I haven't had in a while. There's these little cookie things. They're called dewberry. They come in strawberry. They come in grape. They come in, I believe, peach. I like the strawberry and the grape the best. I like grape actually the best. But look up dewberry. Dewberry. Dewberry, and they're these little. There's like two small like little cookie things in a package, but you can buy like
A bag.
a bag of them for not too much money. They're pretty cheap
We
actually,
used to
but
have like stocks of those, of that dewberry before.
you can often get them if you live in an area where there's like a Filipino grocery store. A lot of the times they'll have them. I don't think they're as popular these days as they used to be when I first started having them about 10 years ago. It seems
Mm.
like they were more popular 10 years ago. I've bought them too in the United States at Filipino grocery
Was it more
stores.
expensive there? For sure, huh?
Probably, but I don't really remember. It's been quite a while.
Maybe. Well, green goby was your favorite Filipino snack. Did you mean something Filipino like native? Because you like puto. You also like
Yeah,
turon,
I
like the
like that
banana,
stuff, but
the
for
or
favorite, I'd
banana
pick dewberry.
fritters.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like all that. Some of that peanut brittle stuff
yeah,
is,
peanut brittle, exactly.
yes. I mean, there's a lot, but if you're asking my favorite off the top of my head, I'd pick dewberry, I guess, just off the top of my head. Sammy asks, in your previous videos, you mentioned that there was a travel guide that you read before your first trip to the Philippines. which helped you stay safe. Can you name the title of this guide?
Do you still remember?
Let me say that this was 13 years ago, so I do not remember the name of the guide, and I think I got it from the public library of somewhere in Ypsilanti, Michigan, or a university library. It was 13 years ago. I don't know the name. I shared you, I think, probably the most important things, like where it had the horror stories about guys getting robbed by girls and stuff. I'll be coming out with my book that's a
Perfect,
guide.
exactly.
I'll be coming out with my book that's a guide to moving to the Philippines. Although I suppose I could almost do a travel guide as well. I didn't even think about that. There's so many people, they want information about moving to the Philippines on a little bit more permanent basis. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely the man for the travel stuff too.
I think Sammy, if I'm not, maybe Sammy, you're just curious about like what that travel guide, right? But I think many information then could already be obsolete. So
Yeah, most of it would be obsolete. In
it's
fact,
still
even when I
best
had
to
it, it was
check
kind of
online, and
obsolete.
maybe one of these days when the ebook is available, you can check it out as
But I'll
well.
say this, moving to the Philippines is very different than coming to travel here on a
Yeah,
vacation.
yeah.
So you could have two actually, which is something to think about. But the most relevant thing, well, here's what I'll tell you about staying safe. And I said this in one of my other videos, maybe you've seen, because I think it was mentioned in one of them too, the trail aid. The basic advice is don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid of hurting someone's feelings. Don't be afraid that someone's not going to like you. If you don't feel comfortable with something, say no. And that's what's going to keep you safe more than anything else. So many Americans and a lot of Europeans and Canadians and such, Australians, people in the Western world, they're very polite and they're afraid to hurt people, especially when
Hmm.
they're a guest in someone else's country. But that what's going to keep you safe is not being afraid to say no to people, even if you think it's going to turn someone off.
Hmm.
So that's the best advice I can give you in a short period of time. Travis and Imabel US trip. Let's make it happen. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm with you there, Evan. Let's make it happen.
Yes, Evan,
But
that's
for
gonna happen by
but
God's
first, what
grace.
about Ulaanbaatar? Don't we got to make a trip there first? I think so. I think that should be before the United States. Uh, Let me see. Ronnie says I love Twizzlers. Yeah, in terms of junk food, those red Twizzlers, I love
I
those.
didn't know what Twizzlers are before, but Travis them, introduced me to them.
Valley
You
Isle
didn't you?
guy is not from Norway. He's from Maui, living in Davao. Oh, someone else
Oh,
was from Norway, so I got confused. But uh, I've been to Hawaii twice, never Maui though. Both times Oahu.
cool. Ronnie Rodriguez said Kirk Cameron was a nerd back then.
I
Oh
think he
yeah,
was actually considered a hunk and a stud. Okay.
really?
When he was on that show, Growing Pains, he became the most popular guy on the show. Everyone thought he was so hot and so cool. So,
Christian Cachero, time to sleep now. It's very late. LOL. I hope to bump into you guys when I visit next year. Good night. Good night to you, Christian Cachero. Sweet dreams. And the Valley Isle Gal Maui is also known as the Valley Isle. That hence the name. Okay, very interesting. Ronnie Rodriguez, Travis, are you going to see the new Star Wars movie, Rogue One?
probably on I'll probably wait for it on TV. I didn't like the last Star Wars movie. Uh, there's probably some good things about the new movie and probably some bad things. Donnie Yen is in it, which I think is interesting. I like some of Donnie Yen's work. Of course, he's a huge star in Asia, especially the Chinese parts of Asia. Um, there's two movies of Donnie Yen I really like: Flashpoint and SPL, aka Killzone. A lot of Donnie Yen's other movies I don't really like. Those Ip Man movies, those are pretty cheesy. Although I'm kind of curious about the third one, the new one, because they have Mike Tyson in it. I kind of want
Mm-hmm.
to see it just to see Mike Tyson and fight Mike Tyson in the movie. That could be cool. I mean, you could. Yeah, I hated Ip Man 2. I saw it on TV here, and they ripped off Rock. It was like a very bad rip off of Rocky 4. They totally ripped off Rocky 4. It was ridiculous.
Let me see. Evan Cortez who said, I'm more of a Beatles man myself. In the 80s, I loved all kinds of British bands, but my favorites were Duran Duran and the Police. I like the
And
Police. That's dun, 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 dun. What's the title of that song, Evan? God, I can't remember the title. That's the
and
one song of the Police.
I was watching a movie the other
Is
night,
that Cars or
and
something?
Duran Duran did the theme song. Duran Duran did the theme song to the James Bond movie A View to a Kill. Duran Duran does the theme song.
Hmm. Barry Morris. Hey, Travis. That's what he said.
I think we missed some here. Pulp Fiction is a great movie. He's Norwegian, Norwegian polar bear. Yeah, Pulp Fiction is a good movie. I think that by far that's Quentin Tarantino's best movie. In fact, I don't even like most of Tarantino's films,
Hmm.
but Pulp Fiction, of course, that's a good one. That's what made him. John Travolta is fantastic in that movie. John Travolta is great in so many movies, doing so many. He's done a lot of. It's funny because a lot of actors, even Robert De Niro, they just cash in and do a lot of crappy movies in old age, even if they're a legend. But John Travolta, even if his movies aren't necessarily that big these days, it seems like he's still trying and taking on challenging and interesting roles and really trying to do something interesting. So we watched one of his movies recently, The Forger, which is one of his newer movies. Very good movie. I feel like he should be nominated for an Oscar, but people don't like the movie. It's a little bit more low budget, straight to video,
Hmm.
but you can tell he's actually trying. He's not like Robert De Niro, where he's phoning it in for a paycheck.
Yeah. What else have we missed? Hopefully, we get to read all your
Maui
comments.
is also known as the
I
Valley
read
Isle.
that already.
I didn't know that. So Evan likes the Beatles. Oh, we talked about
I
that. He also
read
likes Stu
that.
Grander. He said, "Is there something wrong with me if I say my favorite rapper is Will Smith?"
He's,
No, that's okay. You can like Will Smith. I suppose as far as
is he a
rappers go,
rapper?
he was a rapper. Yeah.
Really?
Uh,
Hmm.
Even late in his career, he had that song. Well, he had a couple like Wild Wild West and Men
Okay.
in Black. Like he does the theme
We
song.
are the man in black.
But I don't. What I don't like about Will Smith is I think we talked about this before. I'm not sure if it was cut off from the last recording of the live stream where he said Donald Trump needs to be cleansed from our country. It's like
Hmm.
we got Nazi commander Will Smith doing ethnic cleansing. Will Smith and his ethnic cleansing. He needs to cleanse people that don't see people like Will Smith. They like diversity when it benefits them, and then he'll complain, "Oh, I didn't get nominated for an Oscar because I'm black." But people like that don't actually like diversity because if someone has a different belief system or a different opinion that doesn't mesh with their worldview, then he says they need to be cleansed. Which, let's face it, using the word cleansed is like the worst possible word because it's like just obviously that's synonymous with ethnic cleansing, and it brings up mental imagery of Nazis and stuff. And they say Donald Trump is the Nazi. Here we got Will Smith talking about we need certain types of people cleansed from our country. Well, that's not very tolerant. But that's always the way it is, man. The people that talk about being taught that we need tolerance, those are the least tolerant people in the world. The people that say we need to fight against hate, those are the most hateful people in the world that put out the most hate into the world. That's just the way it is.
That's a good point.
But if
Well,
you like him as a rapper or actor, that's okay.
hold on, I was reading something. Can you go back,
I don't
please?
know. You're back to the beginning.
Yeah, because we didn't see it earlier. It's
Okay.
interesting. Norwegian polar bear. Thank you for the answer, key of the good work. I visited the Philippines. I visited the Philippines last summer for a month. Much thanks to your useful videos.
Thank
Yeah, the
you.
videos were very helpful, and we're very glad to hear that. And okay, how do we move it again? Uh, Hopefully, we get to read all your comments, and they just move
Hopefully
so
this stream
fast.
isn't so laggy and the audio is okay and all that. Like I said, again, this is just a test, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you for joining us on this. Can you move it?
You
King
went way
Ruel said
back
top
there.
one favorite video is Salo Salo. Top two when you went to Capo. Top three is when a video advice ganda.
Salo
Cool.
Salo, look it up on my channel. That was a sequel to the famous Adobo video. That one did pretty good too. Got almost 200,000 views, but it's like a forgotten one that's not as mainstream. But
Mm-hmm.
look up Salo Salo on my channel. I'm proud of that, even though it's an old one.
Yeah, Salo Salo. Okay, who else?
You going back to the beginning of these? I want
Okay,
to.
go
You want?
ahead.
Is this what you
No,
want
no,
to
no,
go to
no.
the
We can
beginning?
go to the newer ones.
Okay. Hawasaki. I lost the comment now. Sorry. But yeah, someone asked how Saki is. I guess
Evan Cortez, have a great
Larry
day.
Morris.
Yeah, because
Saki's good. She's a star now on my YouTube video. My parents coming again. We talked about that earlier. They would like to hang on. Evan Cortez says, "Hang on. I need to go to the bank and get some lunch for a bit. You guys are still here when I come back. If great. If not, I'll just watch the recording. Hopefully, this
great.
whole thing records.
I
Sometimes it cuts
know.
off a lot of it.
It's just so nice to have you, Evan, on this live stream. Thank you.
What do you do about renting a car in,
Sorsogon province, you mean?
or maybe buying a car? He asks. Cars here can be expensive for used
Oh,
cars
is
compared to
this
the U.S.
maybe it's about the longest road trip we had because
But we rented that here, the van.
yeah, Sorsogon is in yeah, but that's we
He's
passed by
talking about renting
Sorsogon.
a. Yeah, we didn't get it there though. We got
Yeah,
it
the
in
van
City.
that we took, we didn't rent it actually, but it came from Manila. It was not from Sorsogon.
Uh,
Or maybe buying a car. That's actually another
you can
question.
rent.
Come on,
So you
tell me,
can
tell
rent
me.
like a van or whatever with a driver, or rent a car with a driver. You can maybe go to get. You can rent a car that you drive. You can buy a car. He's talking about buying a car. That's an option. Uh, I lost the